This is what keeps people poor. I don't trust college professors. They're poor people with a degree. Big deal. I was a kid who liked money, that's all. I was very curious about it. I went to a rich kid's school. So I kept wondering, how come one race is rich? Why is one race poor? Same as India. You have all the same white people here. And I kept asking my teachers, when am I going to learn about money? And they gave me this bullshit. The love of money is the root of all evil. But that was their way of preventing me from getting rich.
That's right.
By telling me if I wanted to get rich, I wasn't going to go to heaven. And so I kept asking my poor dad, I said, well, how do I learn about money? He says, I don't know, because he's a professor. And, professors are poor people.
Right.
But they teach kids. I said, that's stupid. So he said, why don't you ask your best friend's father? I said, who's that? He says, Mike. I said, why should I ask Mike, father? He's going to be a rich man. I said, why is he going to be a rich man? So my poor dad said, Mike's father is an entrepreneur. And I said, so what are you? I'm only 10 years old, right? He says, I'm an employee. I said,
Right.
I said, so what's the difference between entrepreneur and employee? And my poor dad said, well, an entrepreneur has to know about money. I said, yeah. And what about an employee like you? He says, I have a job. And then I started to hear it. Go to school, get a job, get a job, get a job. I'm going, school's lying to me. And I said, I don't want a job. And that's how the whole thing started. So when I was 10, I just started studying with my rich dad. And so I was 10 years old, I ride my bicycle to his office. And I had to work for him for free. So he ran a hotel.
Right.
And I had to pick up rubbish and work, doing odd jobs. And rich dad never paid me. He said, if I pay you, you think like an employee. But my dad works for money. He says, yeah, but that's why your dad's poor. He says, never work for this. This is what keeps people poor. This, the rupee, the peso, the yen, the yuan. He says, never work for this. And so that's kind of where the whole thing started. But being 10 years old, I was more confused. So I had to work for Rich Dad, and finally I started to understand things. Like, I'd work for free. He'd play Monopoly with me. So I'm going, why am I playing Monopoly? He says, because you're learning to be rich. I said, I'm playing Monopoly, so you learn to be rich. And so I played Monopoly and got home. My poor dad said, what you been doing all day? You been studying? I said, no, I've been playing Monopoly. Oh, what a waste of time. Do your homework. If you don't do your homework, you don't get good grades, you won't get a good job.
Right.
So I'm going, I'm so confused. And then one day I asked my rich dad, I said, why am I playing Monopoly? He goes, see all those properties out there? That's my real green houses. The idea of Monopoly is to trade up from green houses to red hotels using debt.
Right.
Everything is opposite of what those school teachers would teach. So my poor dad always says, stay out of debt. My rich dad said, use debt. See, everything is opposite.